The first thing total darkness steals from you isn't sight, it's time. Listen carefully, because the moment the lights go out completely, no moon, no glow, no phone screen, you stop living in hours and minutes, and your body quietly begins to unravel its own schedule. You can feel fine for a while, even confident, even amused by how dramatic people make darkness sound. But your brain is already misfiring, hormones drifting off course, balance recalibrating to lies, and fear creeping in not as panic but as confusion. Here's the thing. Nobody tells you about blackout survival. Darkness doesn't attack you all at once. It erodes you. Your eyes are the obvious victims, but they're just messengers. Within minutes, your pupils max out, letting in every scrap of light that doesn't exist, and the visual cortex starts hunting for patterns anyway. That's why shadows appear where nothing moves and why you swear something just passed in front of you. That's not imagination. It's your brain refusing to accept a blank input. Evolution trained it to assume that if you can't see, something is hiding. In long-term darkness, this turns into full hallucinations, not because you're weak, but because sensory deprivation starves the brain until it feeds on itself. The first survival insight is brutally simple. You must give your brain something to anchor to, or it will invent threats. Sound, texture, routine, anything predictable becomes psychological armor. Then comes the body clock collapse. Your circadian rhythm relies on light hitting specialized cells behind your eyes, signaling when to release melatonin and when to spike cortisol. Take away light completely, and your internal clock starts free running, stretching days into 25, 26, even 28-hour cycles. Sleep becomes fragmented. Hunger hits at random. You wake exhausted after sleeping for 10 hours and crash wide awake after 2. Survival in total darkness means you don't sleep when you're tired, you sleep on schedule. Pick fixed blocks of rest and enforce them ruthlessly, even if you lie there awake. This works because consistency, not comfort, is what stabilizes hormone release when light cues are gone. Balance is next to go, and this one gets people injured fast. Your vestibular system, those tiny fluid-filled canals in your inner ear, depends on visual confirmation to stay calibrated. In darkness, every step lies to you. Floors tilt. Stairs feel deeper. That's why people stumble in their own homes during blackouts. The survival adjustment here isn't moving slower, it's moving differently. Shuffle steps. Keep constant contact with walls or furniture. Build a tactile map of your environment with your hands and feet. Your brain adapts faster when touch replaces sight as the primary reference, reducing falls and conserving energy. Energy matters more than you think, because darkness suppresses appetite signals while increasing stress hormones. People undereat in blackouts without realizing it, then crash hard. The body interprets darkness as danger, nudging you toward fat storage while simultaneously draining glucose through anxiety. You counter this by eating on a timer, not on hunger. Small, regular calories stabilize blood sugar and mood, keeping decision-making intact. This isn't comfort eating, it's metabolic discipline. Sound becomes your new vision, which is both a gift and a threat. In silence, the brain amplifies noise, making drips sound like footsteps and wind like breathing. In a blackout scenario, uncontrolled noise also gives away your position if other people are around and stressed. The insight here is sound hygiene. Control what you can. Rhythmic noise like quiet humming or controlled breathing calms the nervous system and prevents auditory hallucinations. Sudden silence after long noise is worse than steady quiet, so avoid dramatic shifts. This is why experienced field operators prefer consistent ambient sound over total silence in low visibility conditions. Light, when you finally introduce it, can hurt you if you do it wrong. After extended darkness, your eyes become hypersensitive. A sudden bright beam causes pain, disorientation, even nausea. Survivors use dim, indirect, or red spectrum light Because it preserves night adaptation and minimizes circadian disruption. You don't need to see everything, just enough to confirm reality. Overlighting feels good emotionally, but costs you biologically by resetting sleep hormones at the wrong time. Here's the part most people never consider. Darkness changes how you think about other humans. Without faces, eye contact, and visual cues, empathy drops. Voices feel less human. Arguments escalate faster. Loneliness intensifies even when you're not alone. If you're surviving with others, structured verbal check-ins matter. Saying names, confirming actions out loud. It sounds awkward, but it prevents misinterpretation and keeps group cohesion intact when visual reassurance is gone. After days or weeks, muscles weaken differently. Without visual motivation to move, activity drops and joints stiffen. You must schedule movement the same way you schedule sleep and food. Simple, repetitive motions maintain circulation and proprioception. This isn't exercise for fitness, it's maintenance for survival. This section is based on practical field survival experience rather than formal academic sources. Eventually, darkness stops feeling dramatic and starts feeling normal. That's the dangerous phase. Your brain adapts, lowers alertness, and mistakes routine for safety. Survivors don't trust comfort in blackout conditions. They keep checklists. They verify assumptions. They touch what they think they see. Because total darkness doesn't kill you by force, it waits for you to relax, then lets biology do the rest. If the world ever goes fully dark, remember this. Your body is not built for the absence of light, but it is built to adapt when given structure. Control time, control sound, control movement. Feed your brain patterns before it invents monsters. Darkness isn't the enemy. Disorientation is.